Hey Danny, how you doing, man?
Hello, I'm John Bishop.
Right, that's very good. My personal favourite thing about John Bishop, I do think he's funny. I do quite like John Bishop's stand-up, but have you noticed that all of his stories start with "So there I was," and then he tells a story about somewhere he was, which I mean, so does every stand-up comedian, but in his accent, it always just sticks out in my mind for some reason.
Yeah, definitely. So in case you couldn't tell, the first whisper of the new year. Happy New Year, folks.
Happy New Year.
Hope you had a lovely Christmas. Blah 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 blah. We are doing season 13, episode 1, and maybe that's not the classification that Wikipedia is going to give, but I don't give a shit. We're doing
series 13, number Christmas.
Yeah, we're doing the New Year special of Doctor Who, Revolution of the Daleks, and it was written by Chris Chibnall, directed by Lee Haven-Jones, and it's starring Jodie Whittaker, Bradley Walsh, Mandip Gill, Tosin Cole, and John Barrowman, and a bunch of other people.
Indeed it is. Okay, you've got an opening statement.
I do.
I bet you do.
A frustrating story in which so much was promised, and I just feel the ambitiousness of it hindered it somewhat. A lot was going on, and I think I'm just bitter because of my own expectations.
Yeah, too many ideas presented too quickly. I just don't care about these storylines and these characters. I just don't care. Make me give a shit, because at this point I just don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on to CRQs. My personal favourite part of this episode, called Revolution of the Daleks, was the Revolution of the Daleks, which lasted for about 3 minutes. That was my personal favourite part, and they just met on a bridge and had a chat, and that was what they did.
I don't know if Chibnall knows the definition of a revolution, okay? But this was not a revolution by any means.
No.
It was just these weird sort of human sort of Daleks that didn't want to usurp the real Daleks. They wanted to actually just sort of work with them, and it was the gold ones that just sort of came. Maybe, I don't know, maybe civil strife of the Daleks, civil disobedience of the Daleks would be a bit more sort of...
Slightly miffed Daleks.
Yeah, I love the concept of Dalek infighting, and I always want to see it. I want to see stuff like Remembrance of the Daleks, and even to a smaller extent like Evolution of the Daleks, where I love the sort of idea of these horrible creatures sort of fighting over what bits are pure and what isn't. That's a really interesting sort of concept to me. So I thought that's what we were going to get, but instead we got just weird sort of British politics and Theresa May rip-off, and just... That's
right. Okay. I mean, this was always coming, wasn't it? Since we had introduced not Donald Trump, it was always coming that we'd have not Theresa May. That was just kind of the thing of it. But the thing that really kind of frustrated me about this was that perhaps in the current political climate, especially in the United States, perhaps it's not a good idea to generate a Doctor Who monster that's just a very efficient way to commit police brutality. Perhaps that's not a good idea. And yeah, they bloody went for it anyway. I mean, what? Who made that call? That's just bizarre to me.
I don't know. Let's see if they'd have done it how I think Daleks sort of becoming part of the police force is a great sort of political commentary on how the police can be so militarized very easily.
Yeah.
You know, but there was just so much going on. You know, there was the bit at the beginning with the guy in the truck. They made references to his family and all that, and it was what does that mean? Is he involved? And then we never see him again. And some person who runs a chip vendor steals this. So I'm assuming that's what do you call it? Rip off Theresa May's agent that got the device or the casing.
Presumably, yes. By the way, the actress that played Theresa May, Chloe pointed this out when we were watching it. I don't think either of us have ever seen her in anything where she's not in or near Downing Street.
Killing
she
Eve.
also I haven't seen that, but yeah, she also plays Winston Churchill's wife in The Crown. And
so she does.
It was just a very strange thing to think. I don't think I've ever seen this lady not be near that iconic door.
Yeah.
Which is very strange.
Yeah, she's in Killing Eve, and she's really good in that. I'd give
I
that
still
a
haven't
watch.
seen Killing Eve. I do need to watch
It's
it.
so good. It's really good. But yeah, Jack Robertson is so fucking annoying.
Who?
The Trump ripoff.
Oh, right, not Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not even a good sort of satire of Trump. Really, he's just a sort of cartoonish pantomime sort of villain that goes about. You know, is like, oh, I like money. It's like, yeah, okay, we get it. It's like,
Yeah, maybe they could have just cut out him and put Mr. Krabs in, and it would have been the same concept, really.
yeah, exactly.
I do get what you mean, sort of briefly going back to what you said about the busyness of the episode. With, like, say his name was Jack Robinson.
Robertson.
That is such a... Right, okay. Okay, this is a bit of a... It's not a controversial opinion of mine, but it sort of is on the same level. If you're going to put characters into a story, give them names that people will remember and also are different from other characters in the same story.
Yeah.
Because I'm not... If there are two characters in the same story, one called Jerry and one called Gary, I am not going to remember that those are those names. I just won't. I will try my very hardest, but I just will not remember that.
Yeah.
But like anyway, going back to my actual point, there's this old Stephen Moffat quote, and it's well known how I feel about Stephen Moffat. But he said, every week on Doctor Who, you have to feel like you've given away $1 million movie idea. And so you look at some old episodes of Doctor Who that Stephen Moffat wrote, and you think, okay, well, that one with all the kids in gas masks, that was very given away $1 million movie idea. The Weeping Angels episode, $1 million movie idea. Do you know what I mean? These are brilliant ideas for sci-fi episodes. And it feels like in this, they came up with a few big ideas and then decided, no, let's just do them all at once. Which is just very... Okay, the extreme militarization of the police force as social commentary. Okay, that's a good idea. Jack getting, like, sort of a PTSD-style thing from being near Daleks because they killed him once. That's a good and interesting storyline.
A prison escape story.
Yes, a prison escape story, and a potentially interesting character in not Trump, who's just doesn't care about sailing out the human race. Those are all interesting ideas, and then they did them all at once.
And also, like, an actual revolution of the Daleks. Like,
yes, yeah.
Like, can you imagine, like, going to, like, Scarrow, and there's the sort of normal hegemony of Daleks, and maybe there's, like, Daleks that are, like, have finally seen that their ways don't work, and it's like a sort of fight for control of the city. I'd be so up for seeing that shit. I love that shit. That's so fucking interesting. It's never been done, or if it has been done, it's been done very sort of on the edge, sort of fringeness. Do you know what I mean? But I'd really like to sort of see that. But okay, fine, I guess. Do you know who? Do you know who I really liked in this episode?
Who?
I really like Yaz.
Yeah.
I think
this is one of my notes. I feel like Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill are great, but being let down by poor dialogue.
Yeah. But Yaz is interested. She wants to, she's actually competent. She actually wants to do stuff. She's getting smarter as she goes on.
And it was the Praxis episode, was it? Where not Mandip Gill, what's her name in the show? Yaz, she sort of volunteers herself for like a task that the Doctor was presented. She's like, oh, I'll do that. Or I want to stay behind and do some more investigating. And that's like an interesting thing to have your characters do. Have your characters be invested in doing stuff. Yeah. Like it's just good.
She used to be a police officer before
exactly.
she left, which is a really interesting thing that you could put her in the sort of centre of, like, maybe she agrees with the militarization of the police. That would be an interesting sort of thing, But
have there be a conflict between a companion and the Doctor?
Yeah. But fuck that, I guess.
She
just misses her.
Yeah. Also, for some reason, Ryan became kind of a dick while I wasn't paying attention. Um, when he was introduced, I thought, oh, that's interesting. He's sort of like a character that he doesn't know what direction he wants to go in his life, and he's studying. Was he studying engineering? Was it, or like a mechanical engineering or something?
I believe so, something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting. He doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, and this is the kind of thing that would let him know what purpose and direction he wants from his life. And then he was slowly sort of going in that direction through time. And then the Doctor disappeared, and he's just kind of angry all the time now. And I don't really understand why. If don't get me wrong, if you want to have an angry character, great. But why is he angry? I don't really get it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the Doctor went missing for 10 months, but she was imprisoned. It's not like she gallivanted off around the universe. Do you know what I mean?
I was kind of hoping that Graham or Ryan would die, and like not because I hate them. It's like just like I think this might be the first sort of era of Doctor Who where we haven't lost anyone significant yet.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Stephen Moffat, you lost, Amy and Rory at season at the end of season. Oh no, midway through season 7.
Yeah.
So. We're in the third year, maybe we'll lose someone. Like we've lost them, but they haven't died. They've just sort of left, and we'll undoubtedly see them again throughout Series 13 for like a Sheffield sort of episode. I can guarantee that's going to happen. But I think it would have been really interesting if maybe Graham died or something like that, and Ryan had to
confront his place in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, or even if Ryan died and Graham had to maybe it became dark. I don't know, but something just interesting rather than we're both fine. Let's just go home and we'll ride a bike and all that. It's like okay, but see when Ryan said the mighty Pating. Jesus Christ!
Yes.
The mighty Pating.
Yeah, I had to. He kept listing off things, and I kept thinking, the what? The who? The when? I had no idea what these things he was listing was.
There's been a meme going around. I want to see a spin-off of Angela the Weeping Angel.
Yeah, that was a bit of a strange one, wasn't it?
Morning, Angela.
Yeah. Right, okay. Let's say you've got to imprison a weeping angel. How are you going to do that, Dan? What's the how are you going to
put a mirror in front of it?
Yeah, that works. Or make them all look at each other, like in that other episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Or so in a slightly strange situation, put them in a space jail with a weird neon chain. That I just didn't. I feel like I don't get it. I feel like there's something I don't. Am I just being thick? Am I reading too much into it? I feel like I just don't get it.
Do you know? I feel as if I don't know about you, but I feel as if now I have a reputation for just hating this show, like this version of the show, and I want to make it absolutely clear. I don't want to hate this show. Okay, I really want to be impressed, and I really want to love the writing that Chris Chibnall does, but I just can't. I can't do it, and I don't want to be, because there are people out there that hate this show for really stupid reasons. I mean, there are definitely people out there that just don't like Jodie because she's a woman. That is just 100% fact, right? And it's not that at all. It's just there is just not. It's like I just feel as if you need to push Chris Chibnall on a wee bit. It's like, yeah, you're almost there. Come on, you can do it. I mean, it's like there's so many good ideas in this story, and not one of them is executed properly because they're all just sort of scrunched together like a TARDIS, getting crushed down into the void. By the way, what was that?
Yeah, was that always a thing that could happen? That was just very strange.
But why is it the Daleks, when there's one, it's as effective as fucking anything at getting its job done, and yet when there's thousands of them, it's just shouting random shit for about 8 minutes before we do anything. It's really fucking stupid.
Yeah, and that really, it kind of annoyed me when they talked about they gave him a name that I just don't know. They described them as the SAS of Daleks.
Oh yeah.
Isn't the whole point that they are all the SAS of Daleks? Isn't that the whole point? That they are all tiny little armed tanks?
The SAS isn't tanks, is it?
No. I mean the Daleks are tanks.
Yeah. I suppose they meant like the sort of, I mean, like covert I mean, it just looked like a Dalek ship with Daleks,
with Daleks on it. Yeah.
You know, there wasn't really anything sort of different about. They had sort of different attachments on their sort of the end of their manipulator, which was sort of okay. Yeah, but it was so small that you couldn't even notice. They were just the same, really.
Oh, it's like a sort of a I don't know how to describe it, like a sphere with lines on it. A sphere with random lines.
Yeah, and it didn't do anything different. I mean,
no.
But yeah, that could another interesting idea. A sort of secret cabal of Daleks doing like purifying the versions of. That could be interesting, but no, I guess. Jesus Christ, I feel so deflated with this fucking show, man.
Yeah. Also, what was going on with the violet light or something?
Oh yeah, so in Resolution, that's how the Dalek that was split up in 3 parts sort of came back together. It sort of drew energy from that, and it sort of rejuvenated itself. I don't know how that works, but I guess it did. Resolution was a much better story than this.
Resolution, I utterly do not remember at all.
Well,
they were in the sewers and they made a joke about Brexit or something.
Oh yeah, they just got rid of like UNIT and like
for the sake of a cheap joke. Yeah.
Yeah, but apart from that, it was like there was one Dalek in it, and it was like one central story. There wasn't a million things going on. Do you know what I mean? It was well, there was Ryan's dad that showed up, and like it was sort of the tone wasn't sort of working between Ryan having an emotional moment with his dad and a Dalek trying to fucking destroy the Earth. That's the thing that I don't like, and I've just realised it. Chibnall is incredibly good at character stuff.
Yes.
But for some reason he just can't not put character stuff where there doesn't need to be. There were so many speeches in this episode. It was like,
yeah,
you don't need this many speeches. I want to see some Daleks going about doing stuff. I mean, you can't. That's what people are going to be watching for, you know? Have emotional stuff lit quietly instead of this sort of big abrasive music telling you what to feel. It's really just, yeah.
And the that bizarre thing about, it turns out I wasn't who I thought I was. Well, okay, but it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm coming at this from a very callous perspective, but like, it almost doesn't make sense to me that is the Doctor's problem with it. Like, if the Doctor said, it turns out I've been lied to my whole life and I feel betrayed, I would understand that is their problem with it.
Or if the Doctor said, it turns out that I am, what's the word I'm looking for? I've been lied to my whole life and I feel betrayed, or I'm not sure what to do next. That would be an interesting thing. But the fact that they were saying sort of like, I don't know who I am.
Yeah. Well, isn't the whole point of calling yourself the Doctor that you've chosen who you are, regardless of what comes next? Yeah, that whole thing of, it's a promise to yourself, never be cruel, never be cowardly, all that sort of stuff. Isn't that the idea?
I mean, I suppose it's like I can't blame her too much. I mean, she did see when she was speaking about it, I forgot the whole timeless child thing, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that happened. I was like, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty.
Do you mean the episode in which the 13th Doctor runs about with a pepper mill from an Italian restaurant full of gold? Which I still maintain would have been a better finale than the one we got.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Do you know what? I'm interested to see what they do with it, but I feel as if apart from it's only Chibnall's era of the show where I get all rambly. You know, like any other thing that we're doing, I don't get rambly about it. But see, when I talk about this show, I feel as if I haven't really made a cohesive point. Really, it's just like this episode, millions of little good things, sort of just unable to sort of come together and just make one decent thing. And it's so fragmented, man. This story, it's so much fucking happening that you need to remember.
That's a really good point. Yeah, Chloe made a very similar point to that when we were watching it. That during the sort of Stephen Moffat or Russell T Davies era of the show, or I think she said during the Stephen Moffat era of the show, you have you're on this sort of higgledy-piggledy, confusing roller coaster ride throughout the course of the story, and loads of twists and turns, and you don't know what's coming next, but you're enjoying the ride. But then it feels like these ones feel like you're going on that same roller coaster ride, but it's just not fun. You're just not invested in the roller coaster ride. You just don't give a shit about these characters. It's like, it feels as though they're going to come to a finale, an end of the story each episode, and then there's going to be and then that was the end of the story, and you go, oh, like in a heist film or something, when you go, oh, so that's how they got the diamonds, and that's the payoff. But then they never actually deliver on that final, oh, and that's how they got the diamonds moment.
Yeah,
there's never an, oh, and that's how they killed the Cybermen. Oh, I don't know.
See if they just took out like the first 20 minutes. Like, why can't we just assume that she has the casing immediately? Like, I mean, like, they could have just taken out that whole driving scene where he stops to get a roll, and that's how. And how did they know that it would have been that
weird,
vendor that? How did they? So he told.
Really good point,
he told this person, "Can I stop for a cup of tea?" It's like, okay, first of all, what employee asks to stop for a fucking cup of tea? Okay, and I highly doubt that it would be allowed for a secret alien artifact
to just be left in an unlocked van.
Yeah, and. How did they know? Was that the only vendor between him and his destination? It's really fucking convoluted.
Also, why was it just that one guy? Why?
I know they got rid of UNIT for a cheap joke about Brexit, but I'm presuming those blokes are still around.
Yeah, you think
you know
there'd
what
be
I mean?
a guy with a gun or a convoy or something like that. I mean,
or maybe even a locked box, maybe even just a padlock. Maybe the slightest bit of security wouldn't go amiss, because the Dalek is dwarfed by the size of that shipping container it's in. So they could fit a bloke with a knife in there. They could fit the guy from Crocodile Dundee in there, and then that cup of tea vendor would open the door and he'd go, "That's not a cup of tea. This is a knife." And she'd go, "Well, that doesn't make any sense." And he'd go, "Shut up." And then that'd be it. But they didn't do that. They just had an unlocked lorry and a mysterious poisoning lady.
If they got rid of that, and maybe said it in either Britain either Britain without Jack Robertson, or America without the Theresa May version, and just sort of focused on the actual revolution as it's happening, then it would been miles better. But they just had so much going on. I'm supposed to care when this person dies. It's like, I do not surrender. It's like, who the fuck are you? We met you 20 minutes ago and now you're dead. It's like, I don't care. I don't care about you. It's like...
I mean, I understand the point you're making, but I feel the need to sort of come in with a bit of a contrarian argument. I think it is possible to introduce a sort of a no-name character at the beginning of a show, and then have you care about them and have them die. Like in Blink, when they introduced... what was his name? The detective. Life is short and you are hot. The guy that said that. They introduced him very, very quickly and briefly, and he literally had about 2 minutes of screen time, and then his death was like a really poignant moment. I think it is possible to introduce a very small minor character and have you have like an emotional connection to them.
It certainly is, but that just didn't happen here, you know?
Yes, it certainly is, but Chris Chibnall doesn't do it, so...
I mean, I don't know. I just feel as if it should have focused on one thing rather than I don't think we needed Captain Jack in it either, to be honest.
Yeah.
We could have just focused on a very sort of grounded sort of. Imagine the Daleks were used as police force. That's really interesting. Do you know what I mean? You know?
Right. Okay. Since you mentioned Captain Jack, I've got 2 notes on him. When I grow up, I would like to be as confident as Captain Jack is. That's what I would...
What do you mean when you grow up?
I think that's what people commonly refer to as a joke.
All right, I thought you were being serious. I was like, do you not think that you're grown up? Do you think your prefrontal cortex is done, my friend?
No, but I do. I think
I like Captain Jack's character.
I like how confident and sort of self-assured he is.
Yeah.
I also like it's that thing again of he's sort of trying to do the right thing, and even though he kind of might not want to, that we talked
Yeah.
about on the Mandalorian episode. Like, I want to do the right thing. That's the vibe you get from Captain Jack.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree.
And right, the Captain Jack breakout sequence, was it cute or was it dumb?
It was pointless. It's like, why
Right.
was she in there? It's like, literally not. I am willing to bet that by the half an hour mark she's out of that prison. It's like,
Right.
what was the point in putting her in there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if unless it was like the entire episode is going to be let's get the Doctor out of prison, then fine. But like, don't just put her in for drama's sake and then take her out. Look, there's no consequence to it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And
Nothing
don't take her out
changed.
in such a cheap way. Which is,
Yeah.
and she only got out because Jack was somehow... Did you say it took me 15 years to get into the cell next to you, or something?
Yes, or something ridiculous like that. But it's like no one, like you can't say that in like a one-off line, and like that's what Moffat did constantly. He would say stuff that just like was like what, like, and it's like just never explained. But yeah, I just think focus on one thing and do it. You know what I mean? Don't. It's like and then Captain Jack's in it. Oh, and there's Daleks. Oh, and there's SAS Daleks. Oh, and Yaz is sad, and Ryan and Graham leave. Woohoo!
Yeah, and also...
Pick one.
Bizarrely, there seems to be this running joke in Doctor Who that Captain Jack is constantly smuggling things into and out of places in his arse.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's great, but it's just bizarre to have that be like a character trait. How did you get that in here? Do you really want me to tell you? Okay.
Wow.
But it wasn't in the first episode he was in, on when Trin E and Suzanne the robots. Where did you pull that gun from? Well,
I really
wouldn't you like
don't
to know?
want to know. Yeah.
It's a strange character trait to pick.
It really
Out
is.
of all of the ones in front of you,
I mean-
you pick this character is constantly smuggling weaponry in his arse.
You know, it
You know,
worked for
if
early
that's-
2000s sort of thing, but it's like...
It's just a bit weird.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, yeah, great. Have that be a concealed weapon type thing. He's always armed. Great. Have that be a character trait. It's just... I don't know. Every time he says it, it catches me off guard. And I don't know how to feel about it. You know what I mean?
Caught him off guard. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean... I don't know. I'm just disappointed, you know? I just wanted a really good story about Dalek and fighting. That's all I wanted. Do you know what I mean? And I would have been happy. And see if they'd have done that really well, I could have forgiven Series 12. I could have forgiven the Timeless Child thing. I could have forgiven it. I could have been like, do you know what? He might have let... You know, because as bad as Series 12 was, he did experiment. You know, he
I
brought
know
in-
exactly what you mean, yeah.
brought in a new Doctor. That's really interesting. We've not really ever seen that before. You know, the Timeless Child thing. It's a big retcon. Yeah, it doesn't make a fucking lick of sense. But you know, it's. I just feel as if I keep saying, "Let's see what happens," and then when we see what happens, it's like, yeah, it was shit. Do you know what I mean? It's like, when am I going to be proven wrong here? Prove me wrong, Chris.
It is
Come on.
frustrating that, like, I think I got this most with season 12, how it felt like it was ramping up in quality throughout the season, and then there was that enormous drop-off in the finale, because the payoff was just atrocious.
Yeah.
I feel like... has Chris Chibnall wrote Doctor Who before?
Yeah, he wrote
He must have done, right?
He wrote the episode 42, the Sun episode, that was shit. He wrote the Silurian one, which I thought was quite good.
It wasn't that bad. It was alright, that episode, 42.
What one?
The Sun episode.
Oh no, I didn't like it. I thought it was.
You know,
I thought it was bollocks. But
yeah, it was a bit weird, but I kind of liked it.
it's like the escape pod like leaves and can just be brought back as if it's like a tow rope. It's like if you jettison an escape pod, that's fucking gone, and it goes away really slowly, and then oh no reverse, and it's like, is there a tractor beat? What the fuck's going on? Yeah, we'll get to that. But
Anyway, what was the other one you said then? The Silurian? Yeah,
the
I thought that was
Silurian
cool.
one, that was quite good. I quite like that. Because it's character. You know, he's really good at character. He did Broadchurch, which is a really good show. You know?
Yeah, and they had, not in Broadchurch, in the Silurian episode, it was all character, you're right, the one where they sort of captured a Silurian, and then also the sort of old man doctor Silurian. he was like an interesting character as well, and
Yeah, and it was like sort of working together between species. That stuff I like. I really like that sort of stuff, and they could have done that. But I don't know. I guess it's just, it is what it is, and we'll see what happens.
Indeed. We will see what happens. I imagine we will be furious either way.
I'm sure we will. Do you have a closing statement?
I do have a closing statement. I always have a closing statement, Danny.
A frustrating episode because you can see what it could have been because of the bones of what it is.
Yeah.
I hope that we have some guest writers come in for the next season and say, "Oh, look, Chris Chibnall, here's how you actually write Doctor Who." It's not just me, right? Russell T Davies was really good, and then Stephen Moffat was a bit crap, and now Chris Chibnall's quite crap indeed. It's not just me. I'm not going insane, right?
No, I know. I feel like maybe we should look at other people and see what they think of it. Maybe we're missing something, but it's just, I don't know. I feel as if I'm being sort of unfair, but I know that I'm not. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You know that way, because I'm actually I really want it to do well, and it's just I want to like it so much. I just can't. I just don't. Do you know what I mean? And I feel sort of guilty almost for not liking it, and it's weird. But no, I'll need to see what happens.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, I think that might be the end of it, unless you've got a closing statement too, of course.
Yeah, really unsure. I feel as if I'm beating a dead horse. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I mean, you've summed it up, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, we've got some shilling to do then, Cocker.
We certainly do. I'm on Instagram at O'Hiram. I'm on Facebook at Daniel K. Actor. I'm on Twitter at Kerzo2000. What are you on, Lewis?
I am on Instagram at Lewis_Brindley. I'm on Twitter at LewisBrindley4. And I have a Facebook page called Lewis Brindley. And also the show has a Facebook page called Shouting Into the Void, where you can go for news and information and updates about the show. And if you feel like posting there, give it a cheeky post. Be like,
Definitely.
Oh, hey, I like this show. And then we'll be like, oh, me too. I'm in it.
Definitely. We're on Podomatic, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we have a YouTube channel, we're on Deezer, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on Amazon Podcasts. We have a PayPal donate button, so anything you can spare, anything at all, would be greatly appreciated. We're also on Patreon, and we want to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons who have stuck with us all this time. Chloe.
Thank you.
Darius.
Thank you.
Sophie.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you.
Aditya.
Thank you.
Richard.
Thank you.
And Natalie.
Thank you, one and all. You make the show possible, and it is absolutely lovely having you on the Discord server. Which we, if you don't know this, we have a private Patreons-only Discord server where people can come on and chat with us about Doctor Who or whatever film we're talking about or whatever it might be, and it's a good time. If you would like to be part of our community, you can go to patreon.com/shoutingintothevoid. Those words. I'm not sure how I was planning to end that sentence.
You certainly can. We also have merch on Teespring and Redbubble. We know that Christmas and New Year is over, but you've got some Christmas money, I hope. Get yourself a wee cheeky jumper, a wee cheeky mug, a wee cheeky thing.
A wee cheeky thing. That's what you need to get yourself.
I should be a salesman.
Oh god, I can just imagine walking into like Curry's PC World or something, and it's like the salesman there. Hi, do you want a wee cheeky thing? What? A TV. No, not really.
A wee cheeky TV. Damn. But last but certainly not least, we are partnered with a fantastic company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and Lewis is going to say some wonderful things about them, all of which are true.
Indeed I am. Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a wonderful business run by my wonderful wife who crochets things, and she's very good at it. She has an Instagram account called @Number12 Crochet Avenue, where she talks about and posts about and images about, that's not the right word, she takes photographs of all the amazing stuff that she crochets. It's definitely worth going and having a look at. She takes commissions, she makes things. Go and have a look. It's @Number12 Crochet Avenue on Instagram. It is all those words. It's no punctuation. It's no numbers or emojis. But go and have a look. @Number12 Crochet Avenue.
Definitely. Well, That is a revolution of the Daleks.
Was it? I don't think that was a revolution, to be perfectly honest. It was some Daleks being angry at some other Daleks.
Yeah, and some other stuff. But yeah, so I think the plan is to just carry on with Doctor Who as normal.
Indeed it is.
Until
because,
one of the shows that we're going to do comes out, and then we'll do that.
Mm-hmm. Carry on with Doctor Who until... surprise! Better Call Saul Season 6. And we'll jump on that.
Definitely. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for listening. And next week, I think it's the Age of Steel we're doing.
Yes, it's the two-parter that we started in like November or something, and now we're finally going to get around to doing it. Yeah.
Jesus, yeah. So we'll be doing that. So we will see you, hear you, smell you, create a mutant sort of weird human trace version of Daleks and fight and.
We'll break out of a prison. We'll break you out of a prison.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Oh, thanks for listening.
Thank you very much for listening.